I've never been more nervous to bring y'all a video than I am right now. But at the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about the collective. And at the end of the day, I have to give the people what they given me to give them. So, here goes. Some people have been questioning me as into how I lost the weight that I lost. And the honest answer to that question is depression. A few years ago, don't quote me on this, but I want to say a couple of years ago, I had went through a depression in which I did not know I was in at the time. But boy, oh boy, was I in it. This depression was caused by a failed engagement. So I was engaged to be married. Marriage date would have been 8/8/2016. Obviously, that did not work out. It is now 2020, and I am single. But after the engagement did not work, I went through a time in my life in which I explored the darkest, deepest parts of my mind, to the point where I had contemplated suicide. Yep, thought about it. My thought patterns at that time was I did not believe the love that I had deserved to be in a world like this. I was so confident in my ability to love that I knew, or I felt, that it would not be replicated at all. Like, I had no hope in the human species that the love I had would last here, right? So that happened, and I can honestly say that was it was the lowest point of my life. The lowest point. I never told anyone about it, and I did not know I was depressed at the time. I only found that out later as I was coming out of it. I had anxiety. I literally would just go to work, go home, and I would look forward to going home so I can cry. And I would cry every night. I cried every night for a year. Every night for a year. I lost myself completely. I was gone. The Lisa Jackson you guys see today. Woo! She was not there before. She was gone. And I tell you that story because that story is the home base. That is my home base from every other story I have to tell you in my life to lead me to the person that I am today. So literally, this depression is home base. Every story I tell you can lead from my depression. Now, just as much as I did not want to live then, is just as much as I want to live now. So you see my Instagram, some of you know me because you've actually interacted with me before. So you know this is genuine. You know this is me. You know this insanity that you see is real. You know that. For those of you who are just knowing me through my IG, welcome. Most people don't know the depth into what I am going to talk about, so you are just learning this as others are. But what you see is what you see, and I am real, I am genuine. And I can honestly say that because I knew what it felt like to not want to live, and now I know what it feels like to want to live more than I ever wanted to live before. I have a purpose here. My depression led me to wonder, is there more to this world? What is my purpose? I have to have a purpose here because I know the love that I have is different. It is rare. Not everyone has it, but I have it for a reason. And this is me coming out of the depression. I wish I would have known this before, but everything happens for a reason. So it led me to try to understand what my purpose is in this world, right? So this is what I found. My purpose, who I am. And it's not just me. There are a bunch of us out there like this. And I, for one, am glad that I found it. Y'all, point blank period, I am what one would call a light worker. Lisa, what is a light worker? Don't worry, I got you. A light worker's purpose is to wake up the people that inhabit the planet and connect them with their true divine spirit. Our role is to teach oneness and close the separation gap that occurs when people forget that they are spiritual beings having a temporary physical experience. Light workers are aligned with the people that they are destined to assist. It's a soul contract where the student calls out for the teacher and the teacher appears. The student calls out for the teacher and the teacher appears. This also happens the other way around. When you are ready to do the work, it can unleash the complete scope of the human experience. Life becomes a harsh training ground for a light worker so they can be at the highest service to mankind. Many light workers have lived a lot of life in a short period of time. Light workers have lived a lot of life in a short period of time. Their lives are beautifully decorated with loss, sadness, illness, depression, anxiety, and fear, so that they can live and teach how to navigate through the uncertainty of life and be living proof of walking the talk. I've read this definition so many times and I have not gotten through the entire thing without crying, so please bear with me. And I'm going to read that last one again. Their lives are beautifully decorated with loss, sadness, illness, depression, anxiety, and fear, so that they can live and teach how to navigate through the uncertainty of life and be living proof of walking the talk. Light workers are different souls who choose to come to earth at the moment to raise the collective consciousness. If you have been following me and you've been looking at my videos, right? Before I knew what a light worker was, I was already doing this work. I actually started doing this work since birth. Which leads me to a person who told me one day, she said, Lisa, we all chose the lives that we live. She said that to me. And I laughed in her face at that time. Oh, poor young little Lisa. I laughed in her face at that time. Because I didn't believe I chose the life that I was living. Until things just started happening. And I started to question, okay, why would I have chose this? Why would I have chose this life? And to be honest, as I go through it, I chose this. I chose every heartbreak. I chose the way I came into this earth. I chose the family that I grew up in. And this was very hard to believe because, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, do I have a story to tell. This definition is what my life has been. I have lived through so much in such a short period of time. I don't think you guys would believe me. Sometimes I tell little bits and pieces of my story to people and they look at me like, what? You're not doing too bad for yourself. And the thing is, I'm not. I could have ended up so much worse, but I did not. Which means I chose to go through what I went through so I can be right here at this moment telling you that there is more to your life than what you think you know. Some of you are depressed right now and you feel like you're going through what you're going through alone, but no, you are not. There are plenty of us who have been there and plenty of us who cannot come and speak our stories today because we were not able to make it. I was able to make it through my darkest moments. And here I am on video in a time of social media in which Leos love camera action, and I can make my story known to millions of people just because of the era I chose to come to this world in. Oh, goodness. For every one of you that has been in my life, whether you hurt me or whether you helped me, you were supposed to do what you did. For everyone whose life I've been in, and whether I hurt you or helped you, I'm sorry if I hurt you, but what I did was supposed to help you. And I'm pretty sure at this moment, I can honestly say, most of you have been helped more than you've been hurt by me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first video for YouTube, a video in which has been years in the making. I had a lot more life to live. Again, in a short period of time, in order for me to feel comfortable enough and confident enough to tell you about my deepest, darkest times. Because this is why I'm so happy and why I'm so all about love and why I want to inspire everyone to be the best that they can be, because there are so much more people out there who will try to hurt you rather than help you. And though we all have the same choices, some of us choose the good while some of us choose the not so good. I'm choosing the good. I understand my purpose. I understand why I've lived the life that I've lived, why I've been through every heartbreak that I've been through, and why I have to tell every story to y'all. Because one of my stories is going to wake one of you up. And the one that wakes up is going to wake somebody else up, and that person is going to wake somebody else up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me doing my part for the collective. This is the beginning. Thank you for staying with me. For those of you who have been with me from the beginning of my Instagram to me now posting my first YouTube video, to me reaching thousands to millions of others. The goal, people. We got this. I got this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's always time. You can always do better. You can always be better. It is just up to you. You are already enough. You are already enough.